Hey guys, we are back for more under construction here with the Disney Infinity. And we're joined with Boba Fett once again, who's helping me on this build. Alright, just to pick up where we left off, I've done just a little bit of work here, but nothing major. These toppers over here, just threw those on there because it kind of has the similar effect to a lot of the buildings in Dying Light. I got the hiccups. And I did bring a couple of the locators up, and that's literally all I've done thus far since the last build. There's one of the locators there, and another one over here in the corner, I think. Where did I put him? Back here. There he goes. And we got two more still to place. We're literally just about to that point where we're just going to put these locators out. Might be couple little things left to do before I hit the play button and put this thing into motion, see how it turned out. But all in all, the majority of the work is done. Now we're just going to have to tweak the crap out of it till it works right. Which I guarantee it won't. It never does. Alright, here we go. I'm going to grab these last two locators. Again, this is day one we're on here, so if you remember from the first day build, this is all day one, day two, day three of the regular zombies, and then this over here are the, what do you call them there? Symbiotes, which represent the volatiles from Dying Light. And again, day 1, 2, and 3 for that as well. So, it behooves the player to clear out as many of these zombies as you can before it turns to night and things get so much worse. And as I'm saying that, I realize that we're not really done yet because I still have to make some safe houses. And I've been doing a lot of thinking on how I want to do the safe houses. I've got a couple ideas, and I'm probably going to go with whichever one's going to use the least memory, because we are getting to that point where I get a little anxious when we start dipping up near the orange and the red. We're pretty much at that point where I don't want to see it go too much higher, so we're going to keep it as simple as possible. So right now these are the day one, or I should say the first night, symbiotes slash volatiles. At least that's what I hope they are. The other trick is to remember where I just put the first one so I don't put them too close together. Probably should have made a little better mental note of where that first one went. I think that one went down that middle tunnel there, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'm going to put him up on the rooftop. He's a big guy. He can handle it. He can handle the fall. A lot of these characters can't. The big guys can do it, but some of those smaller characters, they fall off a one-story roof and boom! Sparks everywhere. Oh, the humanity. Well, I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, does it? Alright, so now we have laid out the sparks for day one, or not the sparks, but the locators for day one. Fun part now is doing it for day 2 and 3, as we gotta take these things and drag them way over, one at a time. Alright, we need to go to Old Town. Not going anywhere for a while? Get a Snickers. Only gotta do this like, no, I was gonna say 8 more times, but it's actually like 15 more times. Because I gotta do the symbiotes too. I think what we'll do is we'll start to the furthest part of the map and work our way to the front. How's that? We can at least exit and get back quickly, I think. There you go. My boy. Day 2. Shabang. Well, it's not so bad when it's only a one-way trip. The realization that this is never going to work the first time out the door just makes me hope to God it's going to be something with the simple logic that's underneath and that I don't have to go back and deal with crossing this Rio Grande here. Alright, the first one we went directly across. This time we're going to go about halfway in and bank left. Just want to separate them a bit. This way it takes longer to deal with them, and hopefully some of them are still kicking by the time night falls. Because that is what makes the challenge. Not that a half dozen or dozen symbiotes by themselves in a pitch black isn't trouble enough, but we want more trouble than that. This time we're going to go up and to the right, and then the last one will be in the front side. Probably do very similar with the symbiotes. The only thing is I'm going to go more in a star pattern for that. To counter. I don't want them to be on the same exact spots. Because again, if a few of them are still alive when night falls, then it'll give them different angles to be coming in from. And the last one, that's right back out of there. Poof! And I think I want to do some changing up with the music as well. When it turns to night, I want different music. More ominous. This is the part that gets tricky when you start using these timers. It's already switching day to night. And then you start throwing in these other commands as well to the same timer location. You never know what you're going to get. Again, it should be as simple as that, but it never really is. Alright, now we have to go to day 2 for the symbiotes. I'm going to guesstimate this is going to be at least 10 minutes long doing all this, so feel free to jump ahead in the video. Most of you will not be watching this live. Same thing, I'm going to go straight to the back side of the map, only this time I'm not going to go to the opposite middle, so to speak. I'm going to go diagonally straight through. And once again, I'm trying to get a slightly different... There we go. We want this corner. It's the tower. I was doing some thinking about that barrier block. If you watch the second part of the build where you start the game off and you're actually inside the barrier block and you have to climb the crane in order to make it disappear, it wasn't resetting after the fact, and I was trying to figure out what we, well, A, what would have caused it or what can be done differently. And what I think, and I meant to put this to the test, I haven't done that yet. I think the issue is the fact that we are starting inside of the box. And I think that's throwing a little monkey wrench into the works. It is feasible that, because I'm pretty sure you can have a barrier block work with a replayer fine. But I was going to say it's feasible that if it were a barrier wall versus the box that we're inside of, that it might have replayed itself. The reason I think that is because when we put the barrier block into the replayer, we were in it, essentially. So when it goes to hit replay and it's missing a component, it doesn't know what to do. That's my theory. And I do plan to try it out at some point in time. However, since that's only the beginning of the game and it only happens the one time, it doesn't matter that it resets or not. All I have to do is make sure it's the very last thing I do on my final save. And then it'll just be there every time. But, interesting moment. Again, if you've never played Dying Light, you won't understand just how perfect this Sky Dome is. For those of you that have played Dying Light, then you already know. That's so spot on. And where was this one going? This far side, right? Yeah. Tell you what, we'll put you down the street. Alright, that gives us 2 out of the 3 days. And then last but not least, the following. aka the countryside. Love the way this came out, man. I just really, the visuals for this, out of all the games that I've essentially copied, so to speak, or tried to replicate, this is probably my favorite, hands down. And I love the prison, don't get me wrong. But I just think this really has so much of the essence. Alright, again, all the way to the back. Now, in this case, we're going to put our zombies all out in the field. Because this is going to be one of those smash and bash things here. So, zombie number 1's going there. As I think about the safe houses, we're going to end up using some dynamic triggers, and then that is going to teleport. And I want to do is randomize it, where it can go to one of 3 safe houses. I kind of wanted one to have a green capsule in it, so if you were down on health, lucky you, you got some health. I wanted it to have a purple capsule in it so that you can get your special meter refilled. And I wanted one that just gave you 15 seconds and nothing more. The safe houses are going to be very plain, to say the least. It's going to be a box. It's going to be a box, I'm not going to lie. I'm really trying to keep this memory situation under control. For the most part, it's the graphic memory, and I know a lot of that is with like the trees and stuff. But it's still inching up there where I'm not totally thrilled. And I know there's still more to go, so if I can keep it in the orange at the end of the day, then we're okay. Spent several hours tonight working for the first time ever on a sidekick farm. I'm not a big sidekick person. I rarely ever use them. But I have to admit, found it a lot of fun trying to keep the weeds out of the garden. Space these guys out a little bit more evenly. That's better. How did I know that was going to happen? Okay. The reason I mentioned the farm earlier is it ended up looking very similar to this one. I am so looking forward to busting through that gate. And there are 4 left to go, and then we can start putting the finishing touches on and run it through a test. We have 4 of these, right? 1, 2, 3. Guess it doesn't matter one way or another, they're going to be staggered, so. quite a bit of transporting going on in this game. It's the one thing that does make me a little skittish. Between the safe houses and getting from day 1 to day 2 to day 3.